Hi, Uncle Jim. And Aunt Emily, if you're there. I'm sending this in a video form because I need you to see my face. This is like, first off, thank you for sending the girls Christmas cards. They don't call and thank you, and they're kids, and it's awkward, and I know it. And I try to get them to be respectful and be grateful, and they are, of course they are. So I appreciate that for them. I do appreciate you getting in touch with Janet, and of course, there's some things that I really don't understand that have been going on for quite some time. And I think it's about time that somebody give me some kind of insight here and let me know, like, what on earth is this and what is going on and why is this happening? I have been displaced from my home since August of 2020. I went for mental health counseling. I went for substance abuse counseling. I ended up homeless, invited to stay with a male friend of Sabrina's. Yeah, I smoked some meth because I was substituting for Adderall I couldn't get. After leaving Dan, I had to switch to Medicaid, and my psychiatrist who prescribed my Adderall didn't take Medicaid, so I couldn't get my scripts refilled. And these guys are like, here, try some of this. It's just, just the street version of the pharmaceutical version. And, by the way, you can stay here for free. Just do some dishes and get yourself back on your feet and, start paying rent when you get a job. In the meantime, I'm fired from my job at Kohl's. No explanation. I was told that Dan's mom sent Isla and the kids to my friend Chrissy's house, having a COVID test pending that they tested positive. So I took off from work and went and got a COVID test. I was told 3 to 5 days I would get the results. Day number 2, I get a call. Kohl's is accepting your resignation. I'm not resigning. I can't. I've probably been exposed. I have to make sure that I'm not contagious or that I'm not a threat to the public. And no, you're resigning, and your termination paperwork is in your email. Then I go to my email, and my password is changed, and I can't get in, so I never see this termination paperwork. I contacted the general manager, and I don't know if it was Rochester or Syracuse, but they're like, "Well, we'll get back in touch with you about that because being termed as resigned, I didn't qualify for any kind of unemployment." And Dan cut off our joint account in March of 2021. So I have no money, and all of a sudden things with these guys get really creepy. And I have to quit school. My car is repossessed. No way to get anywhere. People stop talking to me. Dan stops talking. I'm like, something's going on. People are hacking my account. The DSS worker says, if you continue with your paranoid delusions, you won't be able to see your kids anymore. Dan tells me that Hannah's pissed off at me and doesn't want to talk to me. So I ask Hannah, why not? And she says, have fun partying with hookers, Mom. Kid is 14 years old. And even if they thought I was smoking meth and hanging out with hookers, then why would you tell my kids that? Why would you tell them I'm running away to California and not coming back? Why are you preparing my kids for my disappearance? I would hate to think that you had something to do with this, but that was the notion that I was getting when I was calling and begging for help, which I don't do unless it's like an absolute emergency. This was an emergency. So the only thing I could conclude was that you have a hand in this and that you're behind this. Things have gotten much worse because they tried to sell me through ECMC. And it didn't happen. It didn't work out the way they wanted to. And I saw some things that I wasn't supposed to see, like witnessing a mafia murder. And now they're fucking after me or my kids. The last time we spoke, you wouldn't make a phone call for me. You wouldn't help me at all. So I can only conclude that you have something to do with this. And as I'm yelling at you, there was I hang up with you and I start to send my friend a text message like, this is really jacked up. There's not a soul in the world. I don't have a friend in this entire world. I don't have a friend on this planet. And this low frequency, I don't, never seen it, never seen anything like this. The only thing I can imagine is it's some kind of sonar weapon coming through as a low frequency through the cell phone I'm holding. Immediately my body goes into a state of shock and I collapse onto the kitchen floor. And it's right around that time that I end up getting sick and diagnosed with congestive heart failure. Not only that, but my lungs, my kidneys, my liver. I may end up on a transplant list for my kidneys. Dan doesn't answer my calls and my texts for an entire year. Tells everybody I ran off on him. Yeah, I had a drinking problem, okay? But I also worked. I went to school. I raised my kids. I tried to be a good mother, a good wife, a good sister, a good daughter for my crazy mother. I've had no family. I've had no help. Since Grammy passed away, that was the last person on this planet that loved me. This entire planet. And I made her a picture in the nursing home of me pregnant. And yes, I was in my bra, but it was a woman thing. Because the last conversation we had, and she was coherent, was when I was pregnant. And we had that heart to heart talk. That one that you just cherish forever. Because you realize how much they understood. And that they wanted more for you, but she just wasn't in a position to be there for me the way she wanted to. And we laughed about all the little plays that me and my friends would put on for her and songs that we would sing and write and when she would hand her kitchen over and be like, it's your restaurant, and we gave that Jeff guy, oh God, he was such a kind soul, such a sweetheart. We gave him something called sugar stew that we just put strawberries and 2 pounds of sugar on and some maple syrup or something, and he ate it like a champ. He was like 10 or something, and and Uncle Bob was amazing, and I got to see Uncle Bob. I actually took Hannah to see Uncle Bob 5 days after she was born, and he was like, this is really not a place to bring babies. You really shouldn't bring her here. I was like, I'm right down the street, I live next to Panos, and it was a sunny day. It was gorgeous, and so I said, let's just take a walk and come and see you and give you a hug. And then he was gone too. Ray started turning against me towards the end, and I understood that there were influences there, including my mother. Which is, now that I think about it, it was kind of weird because she wasn't offended by Ray. I mean, she tried to get us to not, she told us he was the devil, literally, that his eyes would glow red and he would make the room shake and that he was demonic when I was 5. But she wasn't, offended at the thought of him, and she, there was something going on between the two of you, wasn't there? Like angsty. Now that I think about it, she threw a lot of weird comments out there. And she made a huge deal out of when they thought Sabrina had cancer and it was her thyroid or whatever. But my mom made a huge deal out of, well, I called Uncle Jim and told him he should be part of your life. So that's why I just didn't think you gave a shit about us. And, I thought you sent Christmas cards to be nice and to the kids. And I certainly, I don't know, sensed, we get these real cute family Christmas cards with you guys all. It drives me, like, I lose it every time because I'm like, this is so bad that Adam was crying too. Like, I've never seen him have like a show of emotion of tears like this. And I'm explaining to him and I'm telling him that, like, all I ever wanted was a family. And I would get these Christmas cards that you would send of yours, almost like a slap in the face every year. Like, here, we're thinking of you, but, you know, not enough to come see you. I mean, over the summer times when you'd happen to be in town, yes, but, like, not enough to invite you out here, not enough to, you know, these family reunions we post about. None of these people know anything about you guys, and we don't care enough to introduce you to anybody. We don't. But just, you know, look at how cute we are in our matching sweaters and how much of a family we look like. We'll invite you to our house once, you know, when we went with Grammy, and I just remember getting drunk by the pool and just thinking, like, is this just to make us jealous or something? Because it's just like here, like, just to say that I did it, you know. So in turn, I was like, you know, don't bother sending kids cards if you feel obligated to. Like, you know, you don't owe me anything. I certainly don't deserve anything just for being born. But I wanna ask again. I wanna ask one more time. First off, it would be terrible to accuse you of having something to do with me being sold to a trafficking ring if you had nothing to do with that. There's a whole lot of people telling a whole lot of lies about me. And you, of all people, know what schizophrenia looks like. And if I had schizophrenia, there's no way I would be able to hold a job and go to school and take care of my kids. Dan is drowning. Just that, but he doesn't come out of his room. He's having a serious problem with cocaine. Cats use Isla's bedroom as a litter box. There's a bed bug infestation. He's getting hundreds of dollars of donations of mattresses and shampoo, basic hygiene things for these 3 kids. He's using them as a tool against me. I've been displaced from my home since 2020. I have evaded several attempts on my physical person to friggin' kidnap me. I have these guys that are like giving me drugs and then making fun of me in the corner and, you know, narrating every move I make through the apartment, trying to creep me out. All of a sudden, I grew up in group homes. They tell us we have these information sessions because statistics are so high that our fate is prostitution or human trafficking. I knew it was happening to me while it was happening. I was terrified and sickened to my stomach that I was sitting in CPAP for being homeless. Mind you, there was a bed at Cornerstone Manor for me, and ECMC went behind my back, canceled the cab that 211 called for me, and told me to get in their cab. And I was left in a room naked the night before that when 2 guys locked themselves in separate rooms and yelled at each other about who was going to throw me outside. If you had something to do with this, or if you know anything about why this is happening to me, because I can't understand for the life of me what the hell is going on here. And why nobody will tell me anything. Why everybody's saying I'm schizophrenic. Me? No, I've been diagnosed with CPTSD. I've been traumatized. I have flashbacks and nightmares. I can't tell who my friends and who my enemies are. I can't tell if people are good or evil. And now the problem is that these people have been after me since 2021. What happens if they don't get me? Who do they go after? My kids? I think my kids are already on this list. Here's the other problem. While I was doing research on my accounts, and living in homeless shelters, I'm watching things around this city, and they are bringing in, and something tells me you know about this. If you have anything to do with this, you would know exactly what's going on right now. It's not just me. They're bringing in these nice brand new white SUVs and vans, and the city's fucking full of them. And I saw them driving around last night. Mind you, my phone has been smashed again, so I have no cell phone, no access to internet on my phone. My girls, Dan will let my kids have phones with service. So there's, between me and the two girls, nobody has a phone. If somebody were trying to hurt us, nobody's got a phone. Dan's mother took Isla. Said she's not coming back until the house is clean to her standards. Or to Dan's standards. I'm like, your standards are dried cat shit sitting in Isla's room in every single corner for a year. I spent an hour cleaning that, and he comes home and has the nerve to start yelling at Jasmine. Who moved my slippers? This is why I get fucking irritated. Because I go to put my feet in my slippers, and they're gone, and then I gotta come out here and step on these beads you guys drop everywhere. I look at him, I'm like, I just spent an hour cleaning up only one corner of cat shit. Go step on that. Have fun. And he literally goes, I can't hear you. And I'm apologizing to my kids for my poor life choices and why I struggle having relationships with men, because I've never had any relationships with men that were not sexual in nature, or that's why I can't stand them. Me and Sabrina are totally different people. I beat them up. I get drunk and punch them in their faces. I don't want to be near them. So here I marry this guy that I think is like a safety net. Yeah, but I'm getting punched in my face and choked out and having socks stuffed in my mouth so bad. I have sores in my mouth for a week, being told that he's gonna kill himself in front of me to torture me. Now he's using my kids as, he doesn't feed them. They call me crying. He's got a $398 sex doll. Why isn't there no food here? Rowan says they're here unsupervised from the time they get home from school at like 3 o'clock till he gets home at like 12:01. He comes home blasted out of his mind and cocaine every night and drunk. Starts shit with the kids, pins them against each other, blames them for the CPS calls he's been getting for neglect. He's got to go to court in February for neglect. They still didn't take him, and the kids are pissed off at me because they didn't take him. Hannah asked me to give her a ride downtown to Compass House, the teen runaway shelter. They're gonna leave and not come back. They're failing school. They don't ever go to school. Dan doesn't make them go to school. My entire family is really jacked up. And I only had so much time. I only had so much time before they graduated to have dreams and goals and money for college and a car, and I didn't get my car. I'm bawling with Rowan because she just turned 16. I said I didn't get a car till I was 27. My stepdad, they came to my graduation, and Gary let. I'm sorry. I get upset and I can't breathe. Gary let Sabrina's boyfriend drive home drunk without a license. And I just graduated and I just got my permit. And he was like, no, let Phil drive. You guys have been drinking all day. And he's fine, let him go. So we don't know how to do anything. I've got a house that has had a whole bunch of crap broken since we moved in here. He hasn't changed any light fixtures. We have 2 bathrooms, and both of the tubs are disgusting and broken, and I mean there's stuff broken everywhere. He hasn't fixed one thing since we moved in what, 2016? And then not one coat of paint, nothing. I don't know why everybody in my family hated me. I got written off from my mother's mother when I was like, I don't know, 14 for smoking pot. Everybody got written off. Eddie was gay. Tracine dated black dudes. Sabrina was a stripper. But everybody else got to go say goodbye to Grandpa Mike as when he was dying. I was told that no visitors were allowed. Edmund and his gay husband, they got to go and give Grandpa hugs and tell him that they loved him and say goodbye. Um, I was the one that gave my mom $1,000 after Gary died out of my student loan refund check because none of them worked. They were all on, disability and popping and swapping pills all day. And I refused. I wanted to be normal. I really just wanted to be normal. So I give my mom $1,000 and I say, here, pay your bills because I don't want you to be in distress over that. And of course, I'm a broke college kid. Like, I'm not getting disability checks. I'm like, in fact, I had a foster mother that took my room and board and took it on vacation. And one of the semesters, I couldn't even afford to stay on the on campus for break. And she took my money and ran over to Florida. It's like a year goes by, and Sabrina's got new dishes for her apartment, and Tommy's got a truck, and my cousin Eddie has ended up down the street from me on that strip and had brand new patio furniture. And I said, hey, Mom, do you happen to hear she's waiting on a car accident settlement? As usual. Do you happen to hear from your lawyers? No, I haven't heard anything from the attorneys yet, but I'll let you know when I do. They had my graduation party without me. Because Gary picked Sabrina up at 5, and she lived 15 minutes down the street from me. I didn't get out of work till 9, and he wouldn't budge. So they called me, told me, my mom was like, I got you all this food and drinks. It's a graduation party. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't even there. And Sabrina calls me wasted. Bridget, I can't believe you missed this. Why? What did I do? What was wrong with me? I deserve to know something. Because part of me is like, I'm really lucky to be alive right now. I'm over the moon thinking that heaven is keeping me safe from these disgusting mafia men that are trying to kidnap me and rape me. And I got really lucky. I just got used by this guy as a domestic servant. And I tell him I don't want to have sex. Well, I can rape you and I can starve you. And you can, by the way, pick up some extra dishes and chores around the house if you're not going to fuck me. I don't have a friend on this planet right now. I certainly haven't had any family. And it hits me because I really do appreciate you contacting Janet and checking in on my kids for me. But she got back to me, and I'm using socks to blow my nose. I've just been crying and crying and crying and crying for like 2 years. She mentioned that there were some health problems going on over your way, and of course I haven't heard anything. And I know the last time that you, or I don't know if it was the last time, but I remember talking to you about you had come down and developed some cancer and didn't tell us and didn't say anything. And I'm very sorry. there's a lot of these things that I don't understand. We were just always told that, you met Emily and you guys, you wanted to get away from your family and so you moved to Texas, where it looks like you're doing really well and there's family out there. And um, I'm just, I guess I always just felt awkward, being in my late 20s, early 30s, thinking, man, I really wish I could call my Uncle Jim and just say, hey, can you please be my uncle? Can you please just be in my life? Can you please just be a part of my daughter's life so they don't grow up and not having anybody to back them up? Because then what happens is we end up as girls alone on the streets growing up, and there's a big fucking target here that just tells the world that we don't have any family. We don't have anybody that cares about us. And then we end up adults trying to divorce our abusive husbands with a big target around here that says nobody nobody visits this chick in the hospital. Nobody even knows she's here. She could easily disappear from this hospital. We could make it out to look like, yeah, her whole family's riddled with mental health issues. We could make this bitch look real fucking sick and crazy, and she could disappear and nobody would even know it. And the things I saw with girls being taken to rooms with doctors, and you're in the middle of the conversation with them, and they come back incoherent. And you see these foreign men coming down in nightgowns and walking around CPAP, and staff is taking attendance on their little iPads, and the foreign guys just smile and they nod at a girl, and she disappears. Or you have a black doctor comes in for his shift, and white blonde fucking nurse comes. Oh, this is Bridget. Ah! First off, bitch, why are you referencing me by name? Second of all, why are you giving the whole blonde giggle over me? What the? Oh, because in about 2 hours you're gonna have this black doctor and some foreign man. He was an older guy. I think he looks like. I definitely think he was Russian. I definitely think he was a Russian guy. And you're the big sale for the night. And they're gonna sit there and crack jokes about how fun it's gonna be to rape you, and how you just gotta be strong and take one for the team. And then one of your staff members that you grew up with that basically raised you ends up being a really high coordinator of that hospital and comes over and gives you hugs and kisses and loves on you, and the doctor comes over immediately. How do you know her? Guess you can't disappear today. And now I've seen things that I wasn't supposed to see, and I'm getting threats that I wasn't. There's these fucking satanic cult bastards are telling me that my husband is molesting my youngest daughter. Rowan is walking out in front of cars in front of school, like walking in the middle of the traffic, trying to kill herself. She's been hospitalized. I wouldn't doubt. They sent her to ECMC like 6 or 7 times, dude. I wouldn't doubt she's on the list. She got the letter stating that her medical records were stolen before they were deleted, just like I did. And guess who else I think is on that list? Both Sabrina and McKenna, I think, are on that list. I think that guy Sabrina was messing around with was not her friend. I think that he was using her. And I can't tell anybody this because nobody believes me. Nobody believes the word I'm saying. I tried to stop and prevent 2 other women from being raped. Nobody believes me. So this young woman is drugged with GHB and anally raped with a broomstick, and the video is put online, and they make a lot of money off of that video. And her friends come to her and crack jokes and laugh at her that she got 14,000 likes. And now that young woman is walking the streets hooked on crack, and getting pimped out, and it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. The whole thing is disgusting. And for the life of me, I'm like, telling myself, like, even if there were some kind of, even if there was some kind of life insurance policy or something, I can't. There's like, I'm counting way too many heads to get paid. I'm considering the number of jobs that are going to be lost at this hospital and CPS and DSS and Haven House and the other homeless shelter I was at and the church where the pastor tried to prostitute me on the corner because I was smoking a cigarette and disrespecting the house of God, smoking a cigarette. But he told me to go across the street where his liquor store is and stand in the parking lot and smoke my cigarette and tell his boys that he sent me. And I also saw a whole lot of those big white vans and SUVs, brand new. And I saw them all over Adam's neighborhood because, the people that were physically running through the apartment trying to physically kidnap me live across the street and next door. And I know the apartment's bugged, that they're spying on everything we say. I'm being stalked, monitored, hit with sonar weapons? What the fuck was that? So, dear uncle of mine, let me ask you again. Let me give you an opportunity to speak for yourself and let me know if you were a part of the planning and implementation of this and help me to understand what happens when they don't get me, because God is not letting that happen. This is not me. This is not me. God keeps moving me around to different places and I'm like, they're fucking with me again. And God's like, no, I'm protecting you again. Yeah, a crazy drug addict. Covered by guardian angels in heaven. And my grandmother, my Grammy, on the other side. My Grammy is protecting me from the grave. What is going on? What is this? And why? Why? One of us is going to leave this earth, and whoever goes first is, well, if it's me, I'm going to be really, really confused. And if it's you, I'm just going to be like, there was something I didn't know and somebody knew. And the only grown man that I know didn't say anything or tell me any truth or honesty as to why he wouldn't offer to help me in any form or shape. And then pray to God that nothing happens to your daughters, because this is not just Buffalo. I'm watching YouTube tarot readers and these women all over the country that are going through pretty much the same exact thing that I am, that started around the same time in October 2020. What happened in October 2020? I'd like to know. Keep your kids safe. And I'm going to pray that God protects them too. And that Grammy protects them too. But I deserve to know something. I have issues just like everybody else. I'm no better or worse than anybody else. I was trying my best. I was trying my damnedest to live a respectable, productive, member of society kind of life and give my kids what I didn't have growing up. And I just Just pains my heart that none of that ever mattered anyway. Sorry. I love you guys. Please take care.